Hello, it's almost Pancake Tuesday, so I thought I'd show you how easy it is to make homemade pancakes. They're as simple to make as from the box and much tastier. So let's go over our ingredients. We'll have a 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt, a 1/4 cup of butter, which I've melted, 1½ cups plus a couple extra tablespoons of milk, 1 egg, and if you want, you can add up to a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. You could also add chocolate chips, cinnamon, blueberries, whatever else you'd like. So let's start by adding our flour to the bowl. As always, make sure that your flour hasn't packed down. Toss it up a little bit. And this is a 1/2 cup scoop, so we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. I've got my 1/4 cup of sugar here. I'll put in 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Always make sure your baking powder is fresh. If you haven't bought it in a while, might be a good idea to go get a new package. 2, 3, 4. A 1/4 teaspoon of the baking soda. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to combine my dry ingredients before I mix in the liquids. Make sure the leavening is mixed evenly in there. And then I've got my milk and 1 egg. I'm not a big fan of vanilla in my pancakes. I like to put an egg on my pancakes, so I usually skip the vanilla. But like I said, you can add that if you want. Now, if you're going to add chocolate chips or blueberries to your mix, you want to take out about a tablespoon of the flour and toss that on the blueberries and the nuts, and you'll stir them in last, and that flour will keep them from sinking. It'll make sure they're evenly distributed. I'm just mixing up my liquids here before I pour them in, so I'll pour those in. And we'll give that a stir, and I'm going to, while I'm stirring it, just pour in my butter. Now, if your mixture is a little thick, you can add some extra milk. Usually you're going to need to add an extra tablespoon or 2, but it's always best to kind of see how thick it is, how easy it pours off of the spoon. Now, you can expect a few small lumps in your batter. That is okay and normal. You actually don't want to overmix your batter. It will make it tough. And I think we're going to add just a little bit of this milk here. So I've added 2 tablespoons. You can add up to an extra 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of milk if needed. And that looks like it's pouring off of the spoon pretty nicely. So now I'm going to take my skillet here and I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to try and turn it on. There we go. And I'm going to let my batter set for about 5 minutes while my skillet is heating. You're going to heat the skillet up to about 375 degrees. A couple drops of water should sizzle nicely at that temperature. So I'll see you back here in about 5 minutes. All right, our skillet should be hot enough. I'm just going to put a little bit of bacon grease I have here and spread that around. Okay, we're ready to start making the pancakes. The batter seems to have thickened a little bit, so I'm going to pour in a little more milk here, another couple tablespoons, and just stir that in, and it'll make it a little easier to pour and manage these guys. So you put about a 1/4 cup of batter on the stove or on the pan, And the batter will start to bubble and cook around the edges, and once that happens, you're ready for flipping. So you can see the batter starting to bubble there a little bit, get some bubbles going on the top. So we'll give it just a minute to cook. You cook them basically like you would any other pancakes. And like I said, once you start to see those bubbles on the top, we can, that's definitely not done, ready. So I've got some bubbles on the top. You can start to see the edges are looking a little done there. Yeah. Now you do not want to smush these down. That'll take all the air out of them. But when you think they're done, you can gently press to see if they're done. Wait, let me flip these other two here. You can gently press, and if it springs back, they're probably about done. We'll give them one more minute, another 30 seconds. Actually, I think that one's just about done. So 1 to 2 minutes per side is about what they'll take. You usually don't need to flip them multiple times, just one flip is usually good. So I think that one's done. And I think that one's about done. You can see they're cooked nice on both sides. So we'll go ahead and take them off. Now another trick you can do with these is you can make a letter on them, or you can do something like this. So I'm going to put 1 dot, 2 dots, and a smile. And I'm going to let that cook for just a few seconds. And then I'm going to take some more batter, and I'm going to put the regular batter over it. And just cover it with the batter and wait for it to cook. And then once it's done, I'm going to flip it over and we'll get that smiley face effect in there. You could also, if you wanted to add some chocolate chips or blueberries right at this point, just put them on the back and then flip them over and cook them right in there if you didn't add them to your mixture. Or if some people like blueberries and other people don't. Again, we'll just wait for it to get some bubbles on the top and to be cooked around the edges before we flip them over. You can also put initials or letters there, but if you're doing letters, you need to make sure you make your letters backwards. Otherwise, when you flip them over, they'll come out backwards. So he's starting to get some bubbles. Give those edges just another second to cook. If your pancakes are coming out too brown or browning too quick, or they're really dark, before they're cooked and ready to flip, turn your heat down a little bit. If they're coming out too pale, then turn your heat up a little bit. Sometimes it takes a batch or two to get the temperature right. This quantity of mixture will make about 2 dozen pancakes. So let's go ahead and flip that. And you can see our smiley face. Turn the pan around so you can see we got our eyes and our smile there. So the kids always like that. You can also add some extra ears or legs and a head, make a turtle or a bunny or whatever you want. Just work with the mixture to make the different shapes. And that's all there is to making homemade pancakes. Quick and easy to do. No more difficult than the box mix pancakes, and they'll taste much, much better. I hope you've enjoyed today's Cooking with the Iron Maiden. If so, please like and subscribe to this channel for more good cooking with the Iron Maiden. Happy baking!